Hello, everyone. Apparently, my students have found my YouTube channel. My secret life is out. But if my students are watching this, remember that your homework is to read from page 1 to page 1254 in your textbook. Then I want you to write individual essays on the 10 most important events that influenced Sheboygan, Wisconsin. That's right. I need you to do 10 essays on each event and how they affected the economic, political, and social aspects of Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Wait, the textbook only goes to page 1128? Well, then they have to write more pages. Add to history. You know what, track guys? This is due for you too, as long as you're listening. This is all due at 8:20 on a Sunday night, which I guess you all fail. Okay, hopefully this little rant had them either bored or scared, and they closed out of my video, and now it's time to get to business. All right. This past Friday was our first meet of the year. In my message on Saturday morning, I told you that I was impressed with how we competed. I love competition. Brings the best out of everyone. And I had fun finally getting to coach at a meet again. If there's one more way to enjoy the competition, it is to focus on getting better at practice. The harder the work you put in, the grander the reward. We'll talk more about this at practice on Tuesday, but know that hard work is how we will reach our goals. Our shout out this week goes to senior Calix Flores. If there's one person who knows what I just preached about, it is Calix. Unfortunately, his first race of the season saw the end to this program's longest streak of racing personal records, or PRing, as I like to say. But despite losing track of how many laps he had left, to a 160-meter track with tight turns, to a meet poorly run that had left him standing around for an extra 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes, Calix ran an awesome race. Calix is a workhorse whose goal is to get himself better every day. He has maximized his potential, and he is going to have a great senior year. He is the model of what it is to train in our program. Way to go, Calix. And also, congrats on making it to Northern Arizona, dude. Awesome. Now let's take a look at our schedule for this week. All right. Oh, I need some like music in between where I share my screen. Okay. Monday, on your own. Happy President's Day. Okay. Recovery day and active running for all of you. Okay. Abs afterwards. Beach season is coming up. Tuesday, we're going to be over at El Plain. We're going to be having a 3:35 practice. Okay. Now the start of practice there is going to be, hit or miss, just because I know a lot of you guys will be having to drive there, especially freshman, sophomore. Please communicate with me on if you're going to be late to practice. Okay. Also note that practice will end at 5:45 today. I'm going to be talking to the whole team about racing and what to expect going forward. Okay. But it's gonna be an easy day all around for everyone on Tuesday, strides and hurdles afterwards. Wednesday is workout day. After this beautiful day here on Sunday, we are going to have the track open again. So might as well use it. Okay. So we'll be out over at Almond, 4:00 start. Here, varsity, you guys are going to be doing 5 progressive 1Ks. We've done this workout plenty of times before, where the first rep is going to be at tempo, and we're going to be getting faster each rep to where the 5th one, we're going to be at 5K pace. 1 minute rest in between. Then we're going to sharpen things up with 4 200s at mile pace. Okay. 1 minute rest there as well. Workout for the base group is going to be a mile warm-up. I know it says 1.5 miles, but it's going to be a mile warm-up. Workout 3 to 5 1Ks, okay, at tempo. Here we're going to be working our aerobic system, which is something that we haven't done yet. So I'm super excited for you guys to get an aerobic workout in. Afterwards, sharpening things up with 2 to 400s, or sorry, 2 to 4 200s, okay? Cool down afterwards. Thursday, recovery day for everyone with hurdles afterwards. Friday, we're going to be back at Eau Plaine, okay, where it's going to be an easy day for varsity. Speed development day for the base training group. We're going to be going to the neighborhood where we did the 200s for you guys last week. Okay. And here you guys are going to do 4 to 6 20-second hill charges, the workout that the varsity group did last week. Okay. Here we're going to focus on power and speed okay, going up the hill. It's a nice workout because it limits the amount of impact on our bodies, okay? Cool down back to school afterwards. Saturday, race day for varsity, which you guys were paying attention below, but I will unveil who's racing on Saturday. Easy day for the weekends, for the weekend for the base guys. Sunday, varsity, easy recovery day. Lake's lineup now. Who's racing? 4x8 is going to be Kimmy, Ryan A, Daniel DeRay, and Vaheen. 3,200 is going to be David and Clay. 800 is going to be Luke and Nate. And I guess they went to the other page. Is 1,600 is going to be Ozzy and Ryan Moats. Okay. All right. So there you have the schedule for the week and who's going to be racing. Now let's get to our topic for this week. It's going to be a little lengthy. Okay. Coach Stu likes to talk, but a lot of different things that we need to cover. Topic for this week is tactics and strategies. Okay. Now, some of you might be saying, Coach Stu, why didn't we do this last week before our first race? Well, I wanted you guys to get an experience in and learn. Okay. I could have talked your guys' ear off about all different things that you guys could have done, but without having experience in doing it, okay, it's going to be hard to, put those into practice. Okay. So I wanted you guys to get something in, maybe make a mistake, maybe learn something from it. Okay. Now that we have a race under our belts, we can make adjustments and get to business about how we are going to race in our program. Before we get into racing, there are some important things that we need to talk about. First is that everyone is different. People are going to have different strengths and weaknesses, and me and Coach Wiley will coach towards your strengths. So to say that there's one plan for everyone is poor coaching and not best for you. Throughout your career, when we get to races, and especially for invites, we will have individual plans for you. Second is when I'm talking about tactics, we usually mark quarter splits or one lap on an outdoor track as a marker for strategy. We use this as guidance for how fast we want you to go. Third, knowing the terms of positive splits and negative splits is important. Positive splits are when your first half of a race is faster than the second half. Negative splits are when your second half of the race is faster than the first half. Depending on the race you are running positive or negative splits is how we are going to encourage you to race. Now, there are 4 events that you could be racing with me: the 400, 800, 1600, and 3200. Each race will involve different tactics. Each race has its difficulties, and each race has its uniqueness that makes it great. One thing that you need to know is that we are training you all to be great in each one of these events. Us building the aerobic base is going to make us stronger and fit. At some point, we will break you into different groups and work the anaerobic systems for your event to get you better and faster. Now, the first race that I'm going to talk about is the 400. It's one lap on the track. The strategy of this race is more simple than the others. It is meant to be fast. This is a race where we want you to positive split. The first 200 needs to be to a near sprint. With the strength of a distance runner, you will be able to hold on for the last 200. This is where practicing good strides and developing form will be key. The last 100 meters in the 400 is a different kind of hurt. Those that have the better form at the end will win and run faster. Most of you will run this event in a relay. Okay, knowing how you finish affects the next runner and the team. If you are on the 4x4, know that this is an honor. It's one of my favorite races that I've ever ridden, and one of the most exciting races in the sport. Okay, it's usually the end. Usually there's people all around the track cheering you on. Okay, if you're not motivated for the 4x4, you're in the wrong sport. Okay, the next race is the 800 meters, which is 2 laps on the outdoor track. Now, this is usually the most common race that high schoolers race in, mostly because there's an individual 800, and then there's also the relay, the 4x8. So on an invite day, there would be 6 800 slots open. Now, the 800 is one of the shorter distance events, but it's a difficult race because it asks you both to work the aerobic and the anaerobic systems. Okay, it requires speed and discipline with proper strategy. We are a program that has a lot of history of great 4x8 teams. We have a strategy that has been proven to get you to run fast. The way we are going to run the 800 is with positive splits. To start off the race, we are going to run the first 8 seconds fast. Why the first 8 seconds? Well, running at a near sprint for 8 seconds does not produce lactic acids and will not affect the outcome of the race. If that's the case, then why not? This will put us in good position going forward, which is important when it comes to racing the 800. For the first 200s, we will want to be fast. Okay. Again, everyone is different, so I can't say paces for someone that wants to break too flat, but a 28-28-9 is needed to break too flat. For the next 200, it is about running controlled and settling in. This doesn't mean we will slow down a bunch, but it also means that we have to conserve energy for lap 2. Because of how we started, it is okay if our first lap is slower, a positive slip. It is okay if our first lap is faster, a positive split, than our second lap. Studies have shown that to run the fastest 800, you will need to get out faster in the first lap than the second. So now that the first lap is done, we will focus on the next 200 of the race. From 400 to 500, it is the same mentality of being controlled. When we get to the backstretch, we now separate the boys from the men and from the decent to the best. This is when the lactic acids start to hit our bodies. But this is also the time when people start to go. With our aerobic fitness, I will want you to make a move. What does make a move mean? It means we need to pick up the pace. The competition is going to accelerate and we have to go with them. It's important to know that this doesn't mean sprint. A 300 sprint would be epic, but we will go down in flames before the race is over. Instead, we have to stay with the pack or move past those that aren't as fit as we are. We'll maintain this acceleration until about 120 meters left or going in on the final turn. And that is when we will let it all hang out and make our huge kick. Following the same tactics in the 400, it's important to practice good form here. How we look at the finish determines how fast we run. And boom, that's the 800. Okay. Now to the 1600. The 1600 is often referred to as the mile, even though it's 9 meters short. It's 4 laps around the track. This to me is the funnest race to watch, and it has the most glory. Here's when we shift our tactics from running positive splits to negative splits. We will want to run faster as the race goes on. We do this for a couple of reasons. One, unlike the 400 and 800, if we get out too fast, the longer we will have to run with lactic acids in our systems. No matter how fit we are, we cannot maintain a pace for that long with lactic acids in our system. Two, it allows us to conserve energy throughout the race. The 1600 has many ebbs and flows to it, meaning that there will be times when the pace of the race will slow down and speed up. If we have energy for those moves, we will be able to handle them. If we get out too fast, we'll have less energy and we'll be left behind. Now, for the start, we will not go out like the 800. We will settle into our pace as quickly as we can. This is easier said than done because many times runners treat the first 200 like an 800 and feel that being out in the front of the pack is important. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. What is important is that we are focused on our pace. Your first lap should not be 3 to 4 seconds faster than your goal pace. We will have a goal pace for the first 800 or the first 2 laps that will allow you to handle the next 2 laps, which are going to be the 2 most important laps of the race. The third lap is when we need to start going into that next gear and apply pressure on the pace. Okay. The third lap is typically our slowest. So if you can push through this, you will push the competition and get closer to your goal time. Just like the 800, we will accelerate, but not sprint. At this point, we should be passing the competition that got out too hard. If you are with a pack, you have to respond to moves that they are making or be the one to push the pace if they slow down. The third lap determines how you finish and who you beat or lose. If we ran smart, we should be ready for the final lap. When we get to the 400 meter mark is when we start to gear up for our kick and we accelerate. Each 100 meters, we mark another gear that we want to get to. The whole way making sure that we have great form. For the 1600 meters race, we want to dominate the final lap. Okay. Our last race is the 3200. 3200, often referred to the 2 mile, is 8 laps. In this race, pacing is very important. This race is another negative split race. Here, our race pace will be slower than all the races above. We will want to follow the same strategy as the 1600 as to get settled into our pace as quickly as possible. This race is important to not be focused on what others are doing in the first lap. Just worry about yourself. There are a lot of idiots out there. Let them have their fun in the first lap. You'll be passing them soon enough. Here for the first mile, we want to be running at our pace and conserving energy as best as we can. Right around the mile is where the race starts to be spreading out, meaning that the pack of runners will be dwindling as the pace quickens and the runners fall off. It's important here to stay with the pack and accelerate with it. Laps 5 and 6 are important and require a tremendous amount of focus and effort. Here's where the strength that we have been building throughout the season will have its benefits, as it will be focused for a strong finish. The 7th lap starts the last half mile of your race. Depending on the runner you are and the race we are in, we might start talking about making a move here. For others, it's about maintaining the pace throughout. The last lap is just like the 1600, where we focus on going to another gear every 100 meters. The 3200 requires a lot of experience and focus, okay, to maintaining a high effort for 8 laps. So there you have it. Those are Coach Stu's tips for the races that we will be racing this year. Okay. Now, if you guys are taking notes, you would notice that the third quarter of the race was an important part of racing. So from 400 to 600 in the 800, the third lap in the 1600, and laps 5 and 6 in the 3200 are when people lose focus and slow down or can't make moves with the faster runners. We're going to be stressing this in workouts that certain reps are going to get us ready for these parts of the races. Those parts of those races are where we get our best times. Everyone can start a race fast and everyone can have a kick in the end. It's what is done in the middle of those races that counts. Know that how we train is getting us ready to dominate a whole race. So there you have it. Another week in the books. Varsity makes its season debut at Lakes this week. I'm excited what I'm seeing and what I'm about to see. And we have no school tomorrow. So much to be excited about. Okay. Remember to take care of our bodies, continue to get sleep, and focus on how you are going to get this program better. Again, I'm super proud of you guys, and people are getting tired of me telling them how awesome you guys are. But if they could only see the work that you guys are doing, okay, they would be super proud of you guys as well. I guess they're going to be seeing that when we start dominating the competition soon. Okay. All right. Enough babbling from this guy. See you guys Tuesday for another great week of training. Coach Stu, over and out. Just an FYI, this is like my 5th take. All right. I'm super tired, but I made it. I finally made it. Ha 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 ha.